My day usually starts with getting my family off, and I get outside immediately. I love to be outside and seeing beautiful plants, natural sunlight. I work kind of crazy. Like a lot of my projects are planned, and things that I work on are planned at different timings. Like if I know that I have something that I'm gonna make in like 4 days from now, I'll go ahead and dye everything that I need or what I have in mind for that project. I hand dye everything in small batches outside in my cottage. I have like a little dye studio set up out there. It sounds really glamorous, but it's really, you know, just a space that keeps my dyes. I usually wash and dry them depending on if I want them more faded, I'll wash them out. If I want them more bright or vibrant, I don't wash them, and I'll just simply iron them. After they're all washed and dry or ironed, I cut and collage them for my wall art on canvas. For my sculptural work, I usually start with designing how I'm going to make the parts of the flower. I usually break it down into the different parts. I sew all the stems. All the stems, after they're sewn, like the long tubes, I stuff them all. And after the stems are done, I kind of break down the flower to shapes. So I'll create, like, the base of the flower will be a ball or an oval that's stuffed. I'll iron all of the fabric onto both sides of that. So it's kind of like a piece of fabric and then a piece of like this like felted material. Once it's all ironed and pressed together, I'm able to cut and shape by either holding it in a position once it's heated, and it usually dries in that position, and it'll hold the shape of anything that I make. My inspiration comes from either a flower or a plant that I see. A lot of times it comes from something that I'm researching. If I'm researching like especially with my sculpture series, Nature's Medicine, I'm researching plants that help heal people or can benefit people, you know, in their daily lives, not just visually and seeing something beautiful. It's about what it does, you know, when you take it internally. Most of the materials are sourced locally, right here in my environment. It's discards, it's ocean pollution, especially my Nature's Medicine series is all discarded items that are found in the intercoastal waterways, just debris floating. A lot of it, you know, I pick through it. Every day I come across discarded balls, tennis balls, beach balls. I'm happy about cleaning them out of the intercoastal, but I'm also happy about repurposing them and reusing them and creating art with them that's impactful, that actually people will see it and make the connection that, like, this was garbage, it was floating in the ocean, it was floating in the intercoastal waterways, and now it's something beautiful that can not only heal you as a person, but it can also heal the earth by cleaning up debris, reusing it, and living more sustainable and trying to be more sustainable in life. This is something that I've held on to since I was a little kid. It's my first sewing machine. My mom bought this for me, and it actually did work. It was battery operated, and I was able to sew just little things with it, little pillows or little gingerbread men. I remember I made like gingerbread men like crazy for a while. I've always been inspired and moved by nature, even as a child. I mean, I don't know why, I was just drawn to it. I think because as a child, I was outside all the time. I also was inspired, I guess, by my parents who were very creative. You know, I lived in a very creative household. My parents had creative jobs. After school, we didn't have really daycare, so I went to my parents, their workshops, and I had free reign. I was allowed to be outside and create and make things and use tools. A lot of times I replicate nature the way I enjoy seeing them, whether that be even a lot of times some of my work I depict as being faded, because like our environments and what climate change is doing to our, you know, our environment, it's fading, and I've tried to capture that a lot of times with how I dye my materials, so they're not so vibrant and bright, so they're more faded and a little bit muted. These are like such important tools for me. They're chopsticks, and I use them in my work constantly. And I actually have like a huge collection of them up here. When I'm working with these tubes and stuffing, I'm able to use the chopstick for stuffing. It's like one of my most important tools. I think nature has changed me and continues to change me as a person, because I feel like creating and bringing awareness to what's going on in our world really affects me as a mom, because I feel like we need to leave our world a better place for our kids. When I was young, I was creating totally different artwork, but I was creating it more for myself. And now I feel like I'm creating artwork for the connections and for people to make connections to nature. This is my 1973 Shasta compact trailer, and I've used it in the past to have different artists install their work. So we would bring it to different events during Miami Art Week and Art Basel. Where do I see my work in 10 years? I don't know. I hope to see it in more places, because I would love for people making the connections that, like, the grass that you walk in, food that you're eating, it's all connected, everything. We're connected to nature.